Why are there no American-style school shootings in Europe? Because there are no American-style schools. The obvious differences between America and Europe, today on The 10th Man. Why are kids using guns at school? Kids, guns, school. Those are the three variables. Which one is the problem? The answer is obvious. Is it the guns? How many people have a gun in the house and could use it to commit violence? In Finland, there's a gun in 38% of houses. In America, the rate is slightly higher at 42%. According to the people who blame guns, we should find about the same amount of schoolyard violence in Finland, but we don't. That's because a killer who wants to get a gun can always do so. For example, here in America, the Sandy Hook shooter killed his mother in order to get to her guns. The Oxford, Michigan shooter in 2021 broke into his parents' locked storage as well. That's no different from Europe's last school shooting, where a 13-year-old in Serbia accessed his dad's gun safe in May 2023 and killed 9 people at his school. There's no proof that it's the guns. So is it the kids? Experts like Robin Kowalski, a professor at Clemson University, say that K-12 shooters tend to be white, male, age 15, feel marginalized or bullied, and come from inside the school community. Being bullied inside the school community, that points to a school culture problem. It could be a difference in the culture of American versus European schools. Are the schools different in any significant way? Yes, they're different in every possible way. Every single aspect of the American experience for middle school and high school seems to be designed to create marginalized boys. Be sure to like this video, and if you see any errors based on your experience with European schools, tell us in the comments. Now let's start with getting to school. Before the school day even starts, there are differences between America and Europe. European kids either take public transportation to school or ride with their parents. European kids remain in an adult-dominated environment until the time they actually arrive at school. Drive to school? That's not a choice in Europe, where the driving age is 18. Wow, because American kids can drive at age 16. High schoolers drive their own cars or ride in cars owned by other students. And driving is not only about getting to school. Owning a car, and the kind of car, is part of a child's identity, defining his place in the school community. Other millions of American kids ride the school bus, the mere fact of which puts you into a certain group. And while the European child is safe from bullying until he actually arrives at the building, in America, it exists well outside school hours. In America, it begins and ends at the bus. Without even being in school, the American school systems already start creating marginalized people. Once school begins, the classroom experience is very different. In European schools, you report to one classroom for homeroom and stay all day. Your 20 to 25 classmates there are your class and become cohesive. You don't have a locker for your weapons or a manifesto. Your coat goes on a hook, and there's a cubby for a few personal items. You don't move to another room on a bell. Teachers come to you. How can this work when each student has a different course of study? He doesn't. Everyone in that high school will be in the same or similar programs, and the kids assigned to a given classroom all take the same courses. That's because, unlike in America, students in Europe are tested after middle school and split up into general, technical, or professional high school tracks. That means there really are not many cliques. If you are on college track, so is everyone else in your class and your school. If you are on the vocational track, so is everyone else in the school. And the principal and staff want you to succeed as much as any other student. You don't leave the regular high school culture behind to go to vo-tech. Unlike the US, where kids used to drop out of school to join the army, or get a job in a factory or garage, or find illegal means of employment. The deliberate division into geeks, popular kids, and other groups is an American phenomenon. European schools have no clubs, no Spanish, chess, math, robotics, debate, etc. There's no school plays, no choir or band concerts. There are no dances and certainly no junior-senior prom. There's no yearbook and no school paper. Some of this is, as far as we know, comment as necessary. All these activities are part of the American culture, and all are areas where kids can form bonds and relationships, which is good. But instead, kids are left out and disgruntled. All of the elements which define the culture of American versus European high schools are risky business, including especially the biggest element of all, and that's sports. So there are no nerds in European schools. There are also no jocks, because schools in Europe do not have sports teams. That's a huge difference simply because many and perhaps most of the so-called school shootings in the U.S. are actually sports shootings. Halfway through September 2023, there had been 16 shootings at football games in the U.S. That's 16 shootings that could not possibly happen in Europe. And there's a lot of football, basketball, and baseball played in the U.S. Would we give up football to stop school shootings? Without it, there's also no school spirit. There's no pep rallies, no cheerleading, no dance team, no pom-poms, no marching band, no homecoming, no flag team, no baton twirling, the list goes on and on. Therefore, neither are there athletic tournaments. There are no conference playoffs, no varsity letters, school colors, or mascots. There's no trophy case. There's no big game Friday night in the new stadium that's named after a past All-American. There are no sports scholarships and certainly no Title IX. None of these things exist in the European high school culture. Sports in Europe are not associated with high school and cannot contribute to school violence there. There are no shooters, no targets, and no venue. The single driving difference between the US and Europe is how schools are measured. In Europe, it is by having all kids succeed in life. But in America, it's the number of kids who go to college and how many get there through athletic scholarships. Going to college in America today means a 4-year party and getting a diploma without necessarily getting a job that will pay the college bill, or going to college for free because you happen to excel at playing a children's outdoor game. If anything tells the tale of American high schools, it's popular culture. The website Rotten Tomatoes has a list of the 70 best high school movies of all time, and you only need to watch a few of them to understand that the problem of school violence is the schools themselves. If you could only watch one film, it should be John Hughes' The Breakfast Club. Follow that up with Friday Night Lights, Mean Girls, Napoleon Dynamite, last of all, watch Carrie. But isn't it odd that there are dozens of movies that we've all seen that would never be made about high school in another country? There are so many high school movies that we don't even give it a thought that there is such a genre. That unawareness is our first clue that the problem is the schools. It's been right in front of us the whole time. Our schools are the breeding ground and the nursery where school shooters are created, along with their targets. Why would we look anywhere else for a cause?